slowly, we are seeing some things happening in the name of treatment. But we still have huge battles. First of all, government still won't fund treatment. Only on Wednesday they announced they want to give a crack pipe. They want to put new plastic tips on people's crack pipes because they don't want to spread hepatitis C. This initiative, which will cost millions of dollars, is based on false science. Do you know what it's based on? It's based on one study in Toronto last year with 51 participants in which one pipe showed a virus. Okay? And as I put in my column this morning, if you did that kind of work in grade 9 chem class, you'd get a D. That is not science. Science does not base its results on one study with 51 participants and one showing of a virus. That's nothing. That could be a dog walk past you. That could be anything. You know, that's not science. So there are some signs that good things are happening, but still it's a long uphill battle because nobody really wants to get involved. Everybody just wants to keep giving addicts things. And many people say to me, oh, you don't have any compassion, you don't care. Oh, I only worked 92 hours a day, 22 days a week with addicts for 10 years of my life until I was exhausted and couldn't do it anymore. I've got a lot of compassion. I know the work that is involved. But believe me, opening a center that allows people to come and fix in the morning isn't compassion. Because when they fix in the morning, remember the principle I just explained to you 15 minutes ago? Addicts want more. That's all they want. So they can get their clean fix at 9:15 in the morning, and at 2:25 they're in the back alley shooting again. You could legalize heroin, and it won't be enough. They will still go after illegal heroin, and the market will still be there. Okay? Enforcement, prevention, treatment. We don't have the other three pillars. What can you do? What you can do is you can send an email to your MLA, to your member of parliament. The next time there's an election of any kind, ask these SOBs what they really intend. Ask them if they're going to stand up and be counted. Ask them if they're going to put money into treatment. Does treatment have to be expensive? No. I'll wrap this in a second. Does treatment have to be expensive? No. If we say it's a medical problem, which it is not, it's not a medical problem. The medical aspect of treatment, I explained Carol getting over her heroin addiction in less than a day. I've never seen anyone take longer than a day to get over heroin addiction. That's nothing. It's a spiritual problem. It's a mental problem. It's a social problem. Do you know what addiction is about? Do you know that all addictions are the same? Did you know that addiction to heroin, cocaine, sex, gambling, the computer, books, do you know that all addictions are the same? They all spring from the same overpowering motivator. And we are all motivated by this motivator. It's the single largest motivator in human life. It's called loneliness. We come into the world alone, we leave the world alone, and in between, if we're lucky, like this gentleman and his wife who walked out the door, we have a partner for 50 years. If we're blessed, we have friends. If we're lucky, we fall in love. If we're lucky, we have children. If we're even more lucky, we have grandchildren. We have colleagues. Most of us work at the daily work of relationship. You come to a Rotary meeting, you shake hands. How are you? You show each other congeniality. You show each other respect. Addicts don't have the gumption to do that just yet. They don't have the skills to do that just yet. They don't have the willingness to do that just yet. So they want to shoot, or they want to have sex 22 times a day, or they want to go and spend all the money on gambling, or whatever their addiction is. That's what addiction is about. It's about loneliness. You and I cope to some measure or another, successfully some days, less successfully on other days, with loneliness. We all have to work on that. Addicts are just not very good at it. So what can you do? You can speak to whoever's going to run for office and say, show me the money. Show me that you can create treatment. Treatment, real treatment, shouldn't cost more than $50,000 a year for a bed, because you don't need doctors and nurses running all over the place. You know who you need? You need recovering addicts helping other recovering addicts. That's the way it's always worked. Listen, you all know about AA. There are millions and millions of people going to meetings every day. In this city, there are hundreds of thousands. We'll go to a meeting today, somewhere in the Lower Mainland, to Alcoholics Anonymous, Narcotics Anonymous, Overeaters Anonymous, Emotions Anonymous, Gamblers Anonymous. There are no presidents, there's no money, there's no recording secretaries. Just ordinary people standing up and saying, hi, my name's Bob, I'm a drunk, I'm an alcoholic. Hi, my name's Janie, I'm a sex addict, whatever the deal is. Okay? Just being honest and working on it and living one day at a time and getting clean and sober. All of that is possible. In Richmond, for 30 years, a group called, help me, what's it called? The center that's getting all this bad.
Pivot.
Sorry?
Is it Pivot?
No, not Pivot, no. I'll get it in a minute, sorry. There's a wonderful a Turning Point. Turning Point has been operating quietly for 30 years, helping addicts. Now they want to move to another house. The neighbors are in an uproar, not in my neighborhood, not in anybody's neighborhood. They don't get it. They don't understand. The only place for addicts to recover is in neighborhoods. And if the program is well run, and Turning Point has been well run for 30 years, you will never have an incident of any kind. I ran a program for 10 years. I had 125 people in residence. We never had one incident. We used to laughingly, but we were kidding on the square. We used to say to people, hey, we're the only house on the block that is guaranteed clean and sober. Our neighborhoods are drunks. We're scared. We're afraid of our neighborhoods. They're crazy. Okay? I won't name them, but I can name the members of city council who are potheads. Did you know that? Did you know that there are members of city council who are potheads? Did you know that that guy who's the head of the drug directorate for City Hall brags about smoking pot with his son? That's the world in which we're living, okay? So thank you for your attention. This is an important issue because it's not the downtown east side. It is the downtown east side, but it's Kerrisdale, it's Shaughnessy, it's Kitsilano, it's Langley, it's everywhere. It's your family, it's your cousins, your nephews, your nieces, and so on. And we have to be honest and attentive, and we have to do honest and attentive work. The next time you have the opportunity to speak to a politician, God forbid, ask them what they're going to do about addiction. Thank you. So, and quite frankly, the guy who's there now is extremely dangerous. And may I very quickly, I know you want to get up here, but you have to hear this. This is very important. The mayor has told me personally, and he's told rooms full of people his philosophy. And I think you have to know this. He said this in plain English. The mayor has said, when I was 19, I tried to ski under the legs of a friend, and I broke my neck. So I was in a bed. I'm a paraplegic. When I finally got around to deciding I can't be sorry for myself anymore, I have to go do something, it would have been cruel for someone to come up to me and say, oh, don't worry, Sam, you'll walk again. Because that wasn't true. That's not the reality. So I had to live with my disability. Okay? All of that is fine up until that point. And then he makes this enormous illogical leap that no one can understand, but many people are buying into. He says, I believe addicts are the same. And I believe they have a disability. That's what he says. I believe they have a disability, and they have to be made comfortable and live with their reality. So a 15-year-old girl who is renting her genitals by the hour, because that's what prostitution is, it isn't a life choice. It's pathetic. It's distasteful. It's awful. You really want your sister to be a prostitute? You want your son to be a prostitute on the street? People who are prostituting themselves, Sam wants to give them drugs to keep them drugged up and comfortable, and he calls that compassion. There's something not right here. The man is sick. And I've told this to him to his face. I helped him get elected, by the way. And the moment he got elected, I regretted it. Anyways. Sorry.